All right, bro. Well, let's jump into it. I appreciate you making some time. I know you're kind of feeling under the weather, so thanks for obviously jumping on with me. Bro, I really just want to kind of walk through your journey a little bit, kind of piece by piece. So I'll kind of ask you some questions. But before we do so, kind of like introduce yourself, obviously where you're from, what you do now, just a brief introduction, maybe some hobbies that you like, and go from there.
Well, my name is Blake Cochran. I am from Louisiana. I grew up in Baton Rouge. My hobbies are hunting and fishing. Never thought I'd be in the real estate market, but here we are. I love the great outdoors, and I guess new doors open, the other one's closed.
Love it, dude. Let's talk because I know it has been some time as far as discussing like your prior career to kind of getting into Airbnb. So talk to me like before you even met me, met Andrew, and like actually got into the real estate game. Like, what were you doing prior?
Prior, directly right when we first met, I was in sales for the plants. I was a salesman job, where I would sell gaskets. That's where two pipes seal together, and that's what seals like the flange on them. And then before that, I was building scaffolds, working turnaround work, 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day, and things of
Wow,
that nature.
wow,
Fun stuff.
wow. And how long were you doing that for?
Scaffolding, I think for around 2 years, and then I was at it was a company called Atlas Hose and Gasket. I imagine it was around a year. It was right
Okay,
under a year.
okay, cool. And I know for me, like specifically, because I obviously was on the call with you before you kind of jumped and started working with me. But like for people that are watching this and like want to resonate, like what really made you like want to take the risk, take the leap, right? And kind of leave behind your old career and like get into what we're about to talk to here in a little bit.
You see so many people online talk about take the leap, and I didn't want to be the next person stuck in the 9 to 5 trap, and I just got so mentally tired of where I was, and then I saw the doors kind of being opened in front of me, and I was, you know what, let's take the leap. Well, might as well give it all and come out with something, than rather not come out with anything.
Yeah, 100%. And I know what we've been working together. I know you're pretty much on your own right now, but when we did start working together, it's been what, a little bit over a year, I would
Little
say.
over a year, yep, because my some of my insurances are just renewing. So yep, a little over a
Okay.
year.
Okay, cool. Let's discuss a little bit about like where you are today. Okay. And then we'll kind of circle back to like where you started a little bit, like once you first got your first property and stuff like that. But tell me a little about where you are today. Like you just told me some great news before we kind of started this podcast. Like discuss a little bit. Yeah.
Here I am today. Just finished closing last week on my seventh unit. We have three-bed
Nice.
houses and three condos and one bedroom. Each of our condos, 2 bedroom with pools. But we're at the point now where and I remember talking about it in the school. You make connections and they just come
Yeah.
to you. We really don't have to search for units no more. They come looking for me, calling, asking if I want more. Like I only have
Yeah.
two landlords for all my units just because they have so many buildings, and they have their friends that are also in the same thing. You put your foot in the door, and they start coming to you. So we're at the point now where it's just constant scaling to the point where I can as much business
Yeah.
credit as I'm funded. But other than that,
Totally.
it's all amazing, man.
Yeah. I would say this is more of a specific question, but would you say it's almost gotten easier to kind of scale the business, like once you've developed those
Oh,
relationships?
100%. It has got 100 times easier. It is, I mean, it's,
Amazing.
like I said, I really don't have to go out looking for units. It's at least once every 2 months, I'm receiving a call or a text saying, hey,
Nice.
we're having a unit become available, blah, blah, blah. Another thing is, since I've been working with these same landlords and just got more comfortable in the space, I've got a lot better at
Yeah.
pitching the certain deals and certain like month free or give me this amount of time. You get a lot more comfortable in it. And there's that
Sure.
too. I'm not near as nervous as you used to be with the pricing. It might not be exactly how you taught it, but like you said, you get your own market. You get used you adapt to your own market, which is I think where I'm kind of at now. Is everything's just starting to seem like it's falling into place.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I would say like a year is pretty fast, right? Like, obviously, it's a good amount of time. You can do a lot in a year, but like scaling a business, which we'll get into like more of some numbers. We don't have to get like too specific of like what you're doing, but like, we'll kind of talk a little bit more of the numbers because I am curious to see where you are at today, a year later after starting this. But I feel like it's super crucial how like this business, specifically Airbnb arbitrage, does get easier to scale, right? As you develop those relationships, right? And I think it's super powerful because what I do a lot is like, I'll compare a bunch of other real estate business models in the space, right? Whether it's wholesaling, whether it's house flipping, the Burr method, flipping vacant land, all the things that are out there, right? There are a ton of business models in real estate that do phenomenally well, but a lot of them take up a lot of time. They also could take 5, 6, 7 years to actually get to maybe where you are right now, specifically with the Airbnb arbitrage business. So just tell me a little bit like what you're currently doing now, right? Revenue wise, maybe it's discuss like your biggest month and kind of talk to me a little bit about
All right, let me pull this up. I can give you a little bit more of exact numbers.
that.
If I know it's around 30,000 will be my biggest month,
Okay.
but
30,000?
Yeah, if 30,000 be the biggest month, but our
Nice.
past 2 months we've had 10 grand just straight profit. That's
Nice.
after everything's taken out. Zero.
Huh?
It's making me log in with my phone number right now. It's the first time since I've started Airbnb arbitrage. It's made me do this. It's usually stayed logged in. You just ought to give us some exact numbers right here. So the biggest month up to date was okay. It was right at 23 812, and that
Okay.
was an over 10 grand month. And then last month November was 2881, which that was another 10 grand month. The month before was 15. You also
Nice.
got to keep in mind we put 2 units in
Mm,
it was either yeah, it was early October we added 2 units. So we were operating with just four, and we were 15,805 in September, and we averaged out around that because we stayed at those amount of units for a little while. But the moment we added two more units in the portfolio, it has been going, and we're now about to add another one.
nice, dude. Well, dude, that's amazing. I feel like again, you've been scaling this entire year, right? Since you started. Like
Haven't stopped.
obviously with as much capital as you can, right? Leveraging 0% interest, OPM, all the bank's money and things of that sort. But like you've basically been scaling your entire year into this business and still been profiting, which is phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of find themselves starting a business and they're not ROIing on their original investment until like 16, 18 months down the line, right? And it's like, hey, this business Airbnb arbitrage, like you could profit your first year. And there's
Yeah,
like kind
there's
of
no
unheard
other
of.
business like this business at all. I've talked to quite a few people to be just to see the amount of revenue we already have in the first year and be able to bring home, like you said, anything in the first year.
Yeah,
There's no other business. Not going to say that's this. Well, yeah, I will. In my opinion, there's no business that's this easy and
sure,
risk free to get into. It might not be the word easy, but risk
sure.
free, in my opinion, just because you're not immediately jumping crazy debt. You might get in a little bit of
Yeah,
debt, but it's nothing. It's never anything bad if you follow the right steps that immediately, like you're saying, you'll see profit in the first year.
100%. I don't want to get too specific on like the market you're in or anything like that, but I do want to touch on one thing of like the types of people you are accommodating, right? Because I think it's a big misconception of a lot of people that think of Airbnb serving just solely vacationers, right? People coming for traveling for tourism, or maybe they're traveling in multiple families at a time to just go get away for a week or a weekend.
Yeah, I would
But
say that that's bogus, man. I definitely agree with you on that because I've probably had one or two people stay for vacations. Other than that, it's just been straight travel professionals. Whether it's people, because a lot either half of my units are by hospitals, the other half is by college campus. So whether it's
nice,
families visiting the students, or if it's some type of people in the medical field, that's another thing. I didn't realize how many different places there is in a medical field. Obviously, you got your nurses and your doctors, but there's so many other people that are gonna need housing,
yeah,
whether it's the family members come in, if you can get next to like cancer research. But we've done two vacationers in my whole year of hosting. Probably
wow,
if that, I don't even know if they were vacationers. They're the only people that haven't told me like, hey, I'm coming for this,
yeah,
you know. Because when you have,
sure,
I mean, that's another thing. Everybody, like people talk about Airbnbs, you ruin your home and everything. Well, like you said in the beginning, if
yeah,
you set it up right, the right systems, right teams, right things in place, you don't just get it booked out to random people that mess your places up, which I had a little
yep,
bit of issues at first, but now that I've got a little bit more
sure.
into it and better in the space, I haven't had any problems in a long time.
Nice. And I think that's a super crucial point too of like having that correct foundation, right? Those teams, those systems, those automations. Talk to me a little bit on how that's played like a big role to help you obviously start this while you were working, right? Having a full-time job. You said you were working 80 hours a week around.
Yeah, when I first started, I was working around 80 hours a week.
Wow, that's crazy. So talk to me a little bit on like the beginning stages when I was helping you out, right? Build these automations, these systems, these softwares and plug and play everything. How that's allowed you to kind of build this simultaneously while working 80 hours a week and
Yeah.
obviously get to where you are now. Because I'm assuming like, I mean, how long did it actually take you to replace your income?
I'd say it probably took half a year, 6 months, but I was making really good money in the plants. You also got to keep that in mind. The
Sure.
plants, they're paying you over 20 an hour per diem, which is a certain amount just to show up untaxed.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it took a little while, definitely, but it
Yeah.
wasn't ever like I was really bad in debt.
Sure, 100%. And how have those systems, as far as kind of launching this Airbnb arbitrage business simultaneously as working as much as you were, right? How have those systems kind of helped you scale and kind of break free from like quote unquote the 9 to 5 and get you to your goals that you were setting for yourself? Because like I said, I remember very specifically when you and I first were on a call, like I met both your parents, right? We were kind of covering everything, breaking it down, and we really dove into what you wanted to achieve. And that was to buy your time back, like you were just getting burnt out and drained at your
Oh yeah.
job. So how have these systems that I was kind of helping you with, right, let alone the people that we're accommodating and the smaller niche markets that we're going into, how have these systems allowed you to build simultaneously alongside an 80-hour work week job, right, and actually get to making $30,000 a month now?
Well,
revenue.
systems and teams, and which I remember you saying this, kind of weird. It's almost like I'm stealing your words. They're really everything. There are two sides for me. It's one is your pricing. I mean, because
Yeah,
the systems for pricing, they're going to automatically know if you use the right one. They know what events that I don't even know that are in my own area. I already have it marked
yeah,
up, things of that nature. And then when
mm,
the messaging and stuff comes to that, it saves you so much time. And let's say you're like me, you're not the best with your words, which you could probably tell during this interview. I'm not the best of mine. They have improved with AI, and it can easily fix. You can put what you want. It'll fix it.
yeah,
But I mean, not to mention that you keep getting frequent questions on something, which I know you teach this in your modules. You could set a pre-message. I mean, it really takes a lot of the time and hassle off of you, 100%. And that's like I said, that's the
yeah,
first part. The second part's all really in the pricing. To be successful, I would
sure.
say you need it because I mean, unless you're just a genius with your market, which I mean, I thought I was. I wasn't, you know. I mean, they know every single little event every day. It knows everything. It'll might not saying it does it too much, but it'll at least let you know I need to do something for that day.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's like the reason why I asked this question because it is so, so important. Like even all my newer clients that I speak with that are running other businesses and want to kind of jump into this, I tell them, hey, like it's so crucial because it's so common as business owners is they stay working in the business
Yeah,
rather than on the business. Right. And when you are working in the business, you stay an employee inside it. Right? It's very hard to scale that way and get you to monetary goals that are going to allow you to, aka replace your 9 to 5 income, buy your time back and do all these things. It's like, hey, if you're going to get into something, you do it right, right, and you have to build that foundation from the beginning stages. So I think that's super, super important. What would you say, Blake, was like the most important thing that you've learned, like while working with Andrew and myself, like throughout the entire program? And again, like you're completely on your own now. Like you're scaling on your own. You're not even utilizing us to like help wise. Of course, if like you need anything, we're still here. But you pretty much taken everything we taught you and just ran and really shaped it and molded it into yourself and how you want to present your business to the guests that you're hosting and all these people.
yeah.
So, what do you think's allowed you to scale to where you are today so fast? Like, what was the most beneficial part of like working with us?
Look, this doesn't answer what was the most beneficial part, but I would say what's helped me is don't. I'll answer that too. But what has helped me personally is don't listen to all the doubters. There's so many people that say that this
Yeah,
is the worst thing. Paint your own picture. You know,
sure.
it will work out. And what does y'all help me specifically most is believing in myself and believing that it can happen. Show me the path of how to get out of the
Mhm.
trap.
Yeah, 100%. If you had to pick like a specific thing that we taught you, like that really helped you kind of break through going from like 1 unit to 3 units and like 3 units to five, like what would you say was the most beneficial?
See, it'd be hard to even really put my finger on anything, man. I would say systems and teams, but that I wouldn't even really say it. Just the confidence that y'all gave me, you
Yeah.
know, it would just be the
Okay.
overall confidence.
Love it. Love it, dude. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's super important because, I mean, hey, like there's always going to be people out there that are like, that's not going to work or Airbnb saturated and things of that sort. But hey, like you can get into any business model and there's a ton of competition, right? You just have to be really good at what you do and like
Yep.
you'll do well, right? And what that boils down to, it starts from is like believing in yourself, right? Going into the stuff with
Yeah.
confidence and knowing, hey, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And look where you are today. So I think that's amazing. And for you, like, I will tell you this. I was going to tell you this off camera, but I think it's like perfect time. Is like super proud of you, bro. Like, there's not a ton of people, your age and our age that are taking that leap, right? Going from someone that has a good paying job, yeah, you're working a ton and you're getting burnt out, but most people would settle, and be like, if I leave this job, I might never be able to get it back, or if this business doesn't work. But like, you took the bet on yourself, right? And you told yourself, hey, I'm going to make this work no matter what. So congratulations, dude, because
Thank you,
it's
brother.
amazing to see. Yeah, you're very welcome. As we wrap this up, let's discuss a little bit of like your future plans and goals. Like we don't have to go too in detail, but like talk to me a little bit as far as like what year 2026 looks like as scaling this business, where you plan to be revenue wise, and your thoughts around that.
I would just I'd obviously like to keep scaling. I want to take a page out of your book and hopefully one day in the future maybe do something like what you're doing and try to help other people out. That's something I've actually thought about a lot. Obviously not anywhere near that, but I just hopefully something in the future that'd be cool, helping other people out, but definitely just to keep scaling and keep growing. And that's the funny thing about this business. I've told myself so many times, and actually I think I told you and Andrew not too long ago, is, hey man, I'm gonna take a break up and not scale for a while. Then you just keep getting these opportunities and units thrown at you. It's a growing business that's almost like it's growing without you wanting it to. But obviously you
Yeah.
do want it to.
Yeah. So I guess like monetary wise, like where are you expecting to be like by the end of 2026, let's say?
Into 2026, I'd like to have, let's say around 15 units, and I would like to be pushing the 50, 60K revenue. Obviously not overall profit, but revenue.
Hell yeah. That's amazing, dude. And what? That'd probably correlate close to like 20 G's,
Yeah,
20
that's
G's of
exact.
profit.
Yeah, just as perfect. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Okay, cool. Dude, I love it. Two last questions I have for you, and I think these are the most important questions. If you had to go back in time, right, and talk to like the Blake a year ago from today that is working at the plant, right, trading time for money, 80 hours a week, right, miserable, coming home, doing all these things. And of course, like you live a great life, you have a great family, and that's amazing, right? But you still understanding like, hey, this isn't what you're meant to do. What one piece of advice would you tell the Blake before jumping into this with what you know today that would maybe even help someone that's watching this kind of on the fence, kind of take that first step? What would you tell to that person?
I would tell my person believe in myself more, and it's kind of what I was hitting on earlier. Don't listen to everybody else. If everybody else would believe in themselves and have the push, then everybody else would be not I don't know if rich is the word, or everybody else would be financially free. Don't listen to
Mm,
other people. If it was that easy to be financially free, and it wasn't like, in my opinion, that you're set on a government trap or you're set on a trap, then there would be a lot more people you see that are breaking out financially free. So just believe in yourself and believe in the process of whatever you do, 100%.
that's gold right there, bro. That's amazing. Sweet, dude. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on here. And like I said, it's so powerful for people to see other people's journey where they can resonate where you came from, maybe not at the same job, but maybe feeling the same sort of way that you were feeling before you jumped into this and then actually getting to a place of where you are today of doing like $30,000 a month in a year. Yeah, there's outsiders that are maybe do, more than that in a year. You ever look at the 99% of people that kind of continue doing what they're doing, right? And then they
Yeah.
don't bet on themselves. So, dude, it's super amazing to see that, and that's kind of why I was asking these questions because not only can we continue helping you kind of hit your goals, but maybe someone who is watching this that is on the fence, and not even about Airbnb arbitrage, but maybe a different business or maybe a
Yeah.
different career path that they've always wanted to go down, and they're just maybe a little hesitant, right? It's just so powerful for someone else to see, your journey and possibly resonate with it, maybe give them kind of a kick in the boot and be like, hey, I'm going to go after this.
They just need to ask themselves, do they want to live? And that's what I did for me. Do you want to live this life your whole life? And you gotta go for it. I wouldn't really say that arbitrage is what scares them away. It's more of, at least for me, it was more of my personal
Mhm.
self. If I would have just took a
Yeah.
leap, I feel like I could have really almost did anything. I'm glad I chose
Yeah.
arbitrage.
Yeah. 100%. Well, dude, that's amazing. Again, I appreciate you coming on and I'll wrap it up with this. Like, super proud of you, dude. Like, keep going. Sky's
Thank
the
you.
limit. I can't imagine what year 2 and 3 and 4 is going to look like for you. Again, so many opportunities will open up. So keep crushing it. Thanks for coming on. All right, bro.
Of course, man.